Hello and namaste, everyone. You might be wondering, in spite of having so many branches, why does psychology need to be interdisciplinary? Yes, psychology is a specialization in itself, and under that, there are so many super specializations, as you can see. And I would like to show what are these different interdisciplinary aspects of psychology. So there are so many and much more. Since this is a short video, I would like to just speak about a few of them. So psychology contributes a lot of its knowledge with other fields, and it borrows information from other fields to enrich itself and also in the process enrich other fields. So as you know, psychology studies the mind, behavior and experiences of humans. It integrates with other fields like biology, sociology, philosophy, and so on, so that we can understand what is happening with the human mind and behavior under different circumstances, different aspects of mind and behavior of humans. So, when psychology studies, just a moment. When psychology studies brain and behavior, it shares its knowledge with neurology, physiology, biology, medicine, and subjects like computer science. When we study human behavior in a socio-cultural context under psychology, we share our information or knowledge with subjects like sociology, political science, economics, in studying mental activities which are involved in creation of literary work, music and drama. We as psychologists share our information or knowledge with literature, art and music. So in many ways psychology contributes to a lot of other fields. Psychology started or is based on philosophy. And in philosophy, for example, the first structuralist psychologist, William Wundt, he wanted to know what exactly is the human mind, and he had many questions like what is human emotions, what motivates humans, why do humans behave the way they behave, and so on. And his student, Edward Titchener, continued or popularized structuralism in America. So, even till date, we study these topics under psychology, that is, motivation and emotion. I will be teaching these in detail in classes. So, basically, psychology integrates with philosophy in answering questions like what is consciousness, and it studies human knowing. So psychology and biology are also integrated. It studies the brain, what happens in the brain, the structure of the brain and the functions of the brain, the bodily processes like how neurotransmitters work and how the neurotransmitters help in passing on messages within the brain. We study about hormonal regulation influencing mood and responses. We also study genetics. So we study the brain, what happens within the brain in detail, and we study genetics or heredity. This is how psychology is interlinked with biology. Now, how is psychology and medicine related? So, we have discussed that there is a connection between mind and body. Psychology recognizes the link between mental states and the physical health outcomes, and doctors also have accepted the maxim a healthy body requires a healthy mind. So, stress and emotional well being significantly impact our physiological processes. Now, a lot of clinical and counseling psychologists are employed in hospitals to help patients to cope with conditions like cancer, heart disease, AIDS, all these chronic conditions. So, what do? They help them in stress reduction mechanisms or strategies, and they enhance adherence to medical treatments. They also help in post operative recovery care. So they help in post-surgery recovery and pain management, and they help in rehabilitation. They help patients to adjust to new health realities. They ensure that this patients follow the doctor's advice. They don't deviate from it, and they suggest a healthy recovery practices. Some of the other disciplines that psychology is connected with, one is psychology and sociology. So, psychology studies individual minds, whereas sociology studies societies. Together, they explain how society influences individual behavior and thought. So, things like socialization, group, collective behavior, intergroup conflicts, all these topics can be studied by both psychology and sociology. Both these subjects contribute each other, knowledge for each other. They also study societal norms and cultural values, how these impact individual psychological processes. We know that identity formation, how do we form our own identity? It's based a lot on the environment in which we grow, the society in which we grow, right? And how we observe others, how they take on their social roles and responsibilities, how we need to take on our social responsibilities, the societal expectations, all these shape our identity. So prejudice can also be understood through both cognitive biases and societal power structures. So therefore, psychology and sociology are interdisciplinary. Psychology also helps economists. How is that? So there is something called behavioral economics. It's a new subject. So how does this happen? Because psychology studies consumer behavior. It explores how cognitive biases, emotions, and social factors drive in economic decisions. So, economists, when they try to understand human wants, consumer behavior, savings, allocating funds for causes, why we do all this, it helps them to understand decision making behavior, and the choices that we make helps the economists to predict consumer sentiments and economic growth. So that's how psychology in studying micro level economic behavior helps in understanding consumer behavior, how we um, do our savings, and all these decision making behaviors, what influences these factors, and the new subject, behavioral economics, is contributing in a great way through psychology for economics. So, these are some of the things I will discuss all these in detail in the classes. So, till then, thank you so much. Do contact me on my Urban Pro profile if you want to join classes or any doubts regarding any of these topics. Thank you so much.